What's up, everybody? Week 4 in the NFL is upon us. I'm going to start out Minnesota Vikings -3 at New Orleans. +3, obviously. Over-under set at 41.5 at the time I'm doing this. Favorites are 18 and 12 against the spread in London. This is the early Sunday morning game. Favorites 6 and 2 against spread the last 8 versus. Saints are 6 and 2 against spread versus Minnesota. Vikings are 1 and 4 straight up in New Orleans, although this one is in London, so take that how you want. Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry dealing with injuries. Rookie Chris Olave, Saints rookie wideout, he'll be a big test for the Saints offense in this one, but Jameis Winston's back issues, how serious are those? Have only beaten the Falcons, and that was just barely. Minnie has second fewest penalties. The Saints have been flagged for 28, second most in the NFL. Delvin Cook, dislocated shoulder, day-to-day for Minnesota. Probably wear a brace and play in this one. Thomas is out. Like I said, Landry is questionable. Alvin Kamara is questionable as well in this one. Andy Dalton will be Winston's backup. That is key to know because myself, I do not trust Andy Dalton at all. Corner Andrew Booth is in for Minnesota, his first game of the year. Justin Jefferson, Anytime TV. Chris Olave, over 59.5 receiving yards. Mark Ingram, over 29.5 receiving, rushing yards combined. I do not like this game. I'm probably going to put a little bit of juice on the Vikings to win and cover. I think Minnesota wins like 21-17 or something like that, 24-17. But I'm not a big fan, so I won't be putting a lot on that game. Another game I'm not going to talk about much, and I'm not really going to bet on. Chicago Bears at New York Giants. Giants are 3-point home favorites. The over-under is 39 in this one. Bad game, not betting. Like I said, Justin Fields, he has no trust, or the coaches have no trust in Justin Fields. I'm starting to wonder if his teammates have any trust in him. Giants aren't good either. I don't like this game. I will say the Giants win 17-14, so that's a push on the spread. I think they somehow will go to 3-1 to start this season, which is just unbelievable to me. I don't care what their schedule was. Next up, my favorite game of the week, I think, Buffalo Bills -3 at Baltimore. Ravens are home dogs. Dogs have been doing better than the favorites so far this year. I love home dogs, especially when they are. Both teams could have a hard time stopping the other. The Bills secondary is beat up. The Ravens secondary is beat up. The Ravens allowed the Dolphins that comeback a couple weeks ago. The Bills lost flat out to the Dolphins last week. Comparable team play that they have each played, common opponent. Ravens are 16-1 when Jackson goes for 90-plus rushing yards. The Bills are 12-3 when Josh Allen rushes for 50-plus yards. And I think both have a chance of covering those numbers today. I don't know what the spreads are. I'll get to that in a minute. When the spread sits between +3 and -3 in Ravens games since 2019, Baltimore is 12-2-1 against the spread. Ravens have the most potent offense so far. Lamar has tossed at least three touchdown passes in all 3 games so far, and he's rushed for over 100 yards in 2 of them. This number is flat out wrong. The only reason for it is because Vegas knows the public is going to hammer the Bills, and I don't blame them. I like Buffalo. I think they're a serious Super Bowl threat, even though I don't have them winning the AFC this year. I do have them making it to the AFC Championship game once again before they get their hearts broken. I think... Oh, and the Bills are 3-6 straight up versus Baltimore and 0-5 straight up in Baltimore and 1-4 against the spread in Baltimore. I think the home team is 4-1 against the spread the last 5 versus, and they do win this game outright. I like Baltimore to cover the 3, obviously, with the outright win, and I like over 51 points. I like Stephon Diggs over 84.5 receiving yards and an anytime TD. I like Rashad Bateman over 45.5 receiving yards and an anytime TD. And I like Lamar Jackson over 55.5 rushing yards and an anytime TD. And I also like Lamar to toss over 1.5 passing touchdowns. New York Jets plus 3.5 at Pittsburgh Steelers minus 3.5. The over-under is 41.5. This is a game I don't have a lot to say about either. And I don't really want to play this game at all. I will quickly say I think Pittsburgh wins this like 14-10. I don't think either team really scores. The home team's 5-1 against spread the last 6 meetings. Jets are 2-5 against spread in Pittsburgh. I think Steelers do just enough to win this game, and I am not going to touch it with my money. Cleveland -1 at Atlanta +1. Over-under sits at 47.5. Underdog is 4-1 against spread in the last 5 verse. Browns are 4-1 against spread in the last 5 verse and straight up. The under's 4-1 in the last 5 meetings. Browns are 5-0 in Atlanta. Falcons weak secondary. 71% completion percentage. They're allowing opponents' QBs to throw. Browns -1. Browns on the money line over 47.5. I lean because I think the Browns win this one like 28-27, 27-24, something crazy like that. I like Nick Chubb for an anytime TD, and I like Kyle Pitts for an anytime TD in this one as well. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at Houston. Chargers are 5.5-point favorites. And the over-under is 45, and the Chargers are so beat up. They got Bosa out. They got Herbert playing with those cracked rib cartilage, or he's got bad ribs. He's going to need another injection before this game. I am going to say the Chargers squeak this one out, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Texans won this game, to tell you the truth, just because of how beat up the Chargers are. But I'm going to pick the Chargers to win 24-21, something like that. So I like the Texans to cover this number. Home dog against the spread, but they're not good enough to win this game, even with the Chargers' injuries, in my opinion. Seattle Seahawks plus 3.5 at Detroit. Lions -3.5, over under 48. Ross St. Brown, Swift, and Walker are all injured. Walker is the top safety for Detroit. Same with TJ Hawkinson, their tight end. Lions are 14-6 against the spread under Dan Campbell. I'm staying away from this game as well. It scares me because of Detroit's injuries. I think Detroit, if they were healthy, would roll through Seattle in this game. I'm still going to say they do enough to win. They don't reach that 31-point average or whatever it is they're averaging, somewhere around there this year. Lions win 24-21, so they win, and I guess that means Seattle just covers, but it wouldn't surprise me if Detroit won this like 24-17 and covered the number either. I'm not spending my money on it, but that's just where I see the score falling. Tennessee plus 3.5 at Indy -3.5. I think the wrong team is favored in this one. I'll get that out of the way right away. Over-under set at 43. What QB has the most giveaways in the NFL since 2019? Matt Ryan is the answer. He's already giving the ball away 6 times in 3 starts with the Colts. Both these teams have been 2 of the biggest disappointments to me in the NFL season so far. I had Tennessee win the division, Indy coming in second, a close second, or tying with record, and Tennessee getting the tiebreaker over Indy. But that's not the way it's broken down so far, as Jacksonville is the division leader. Titans are 4-1 against spread in Indy. Titans are 8-1 straight up their last 9 versus the AFC South. Road team 6-1 against spread in the last 7 times these two have played. I think Henry goes off for his first 100-yard rushing yard game of the season. I am going Matt Ryan, been sacked. He's been sacked a dozen times already in 3 games. Titans money line, Titans plus 3.5, Titans 28-21 or something like that over Indy, 28-24. And I will probably bet on Derrick Henry's rushing yard total as long as it's not over 90 yards. I haven't looked at it yet, and I will be picking Derrick Henry for an anytime TD in this game as well. Washington plus 3 at Dallas -3, over under 41.5. Cowboys are the better team. Even with Cooper Rush, Cowboys are still the better team in this game. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons could have big games just like the Eagles D feasted on Wentz. I don't think Dallas is going to get 9 sacks and all the interceptions that Philly did, the 2 by Slay. Anyways, I think Dallas, though, Micah Parsons, I'm definitely going to be playing him and DeMarcus Lawrence each to record a sack in this game. Carson Wentz to throw an INT in this game, but I'm also going to play Carson Wentz over 1.5 TD passes. Washington is 1-4 against spread in Dallas and 2-5 against spread their last 7 versus the boys. Favorites 5-2 against spread the last 7 times these two have played. The over 7-0 the last 7 times these two have played in Dallas, and 10-3 the last 13 overall meetings between these two. Cowboys win and cover 31-24 over the 41.5 in this one. And like I said, DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons to record a sack, Wentz to throw a pick, and Wentz over 1.5 TD passes. Arizona at Carolina. Carolina, 1-point home favorites in this one. Over-under set at 43.5. Neither of these two teams really impressed me so far this year either. Bad news if you're a Cards fan, though. Cards are 0-6 against spread versus the Panthers and 0-6 straight up versus Carolina. Arizona's 0-5 against the spread when they play in Carolina. The home team's 7-2 against spread the last 9 games they played each other. I like DJ Moore anytime TD in this one. James Conner anytime TD in this one. James Conner over 49.5 rushing yards. Cards have won 7 straight games outright as a road dog. That's tied for the longest streak since 1970. I'm sticking to props in this one. Weather will be a factor. Hurricane Ian is it that's going through Florida and the East Coast right now. I think this could be a real ground and pound, run the ball a lot type of low scoring game. I'm going to say Arizona just squeaks this one out like 2017, 21-20, 17-14, something crazy like that. I'll go with the Cards to keep that road underdog straight up winner streak, however you want to say that. They won 7 straight on the road as road underdogs straight up. I will say that streak reaches 8 this weekend. Denver plus 2.5 at Las Vegas minus 2.5. Over under 45.5. Raiders haven't won a game yet this year. I think desperation is going to be a big factor, especially when you look at the talent on the Raiders roster. You got Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, who's a good NFL quarterback, I think underrated a lot of times. Devontae Adams, who they haven't really hit their stride yet in this one. And I don't like Denver's offense or their coaching decisions or the way their coach has talked in his press conferences either, which I know press conferences don't win or lose football games, but it shows me a lot about his attitude and how he approaches things. Denver's only averaging 14.3 points per game. That's the second worst in the NFL this year. And all 3 Broncos games have gone under the total by at least 10 points so far this year. That over under is 45.5. That's a big number considering the offensive woes. Denver's 0-6 against spread in Vegas and 1-8 against spread their last 9 versus the Raiders. Under is 9-2 the last 11 and 5-0 when these two play in Vegas / I guess the old Oakland Raiders, so in Oakland / LA. I will be playing the Raiders money line, the Raiders minus 2.5. I think the Raiders win this game something like 27-20 or 24-17, 24-14, something like that. I'll be playing Devontae Adams anytime TD, Derek Carr over 1.5 TD passes, and I'll have to look at the props to see if there's anything else I like on that game. New England Patriots plus 9.5 at Green Bay, minus 9.5, over under set at 40. I think with the Patriots injuries, especially at QB, I don't see how this game is close. Under is 4-1 the last 5 versus Aaron Jones, anytime TD. I'm staying right away from this game, but I will sprinkle a little bit, maybe, but nothing at all big, like a couple bucks, like a $5-10 bet on Green Bay to win and cover the spread or something. Aaron Jones anytime TD. Patriots team total under 13.5. I don't like much in this game in any way. Green Bay has won 14 straight at home. I think that streak reaches 15. I think they win like 20-9, 17-10, something low scoring like that, 20-13, something along those lines. Kansas City +1 at Tampa Bay -1. Over-under set at 45.5. How mad is Kansas City after embarrassingly giving that game away to the Colts last week? I think the Colts record, that one win, is a fluke and a fraud. Like I said earlier, I think the Titans win that game. It's one of my favorite plays this week. Kansas City, though, is going to face Mike Evans. He is coming back for Tom Brady and the Bucs. And no Brady-led team has been held under 20 points of offense in 4 straight games since 2002. I'm not sure if that's going to continue or not. With Evans coming back, I think Brady can get Tampa over that total of 20, but that's going to be real close. I'll be taking a deeper dive into the team totals in this one tomorrow before the games kick off. I think Kansas City wins this one like 27-24, 24-20, something along those lines. Travis Kelce for an anytime TD. Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 TD passes in this game. And Brady, that's going to be borderline on that 20 points, man. Can't imagine a Brady-led team getting under 20 points 4 games in a row. That's just fucking scratching my fucking head in disbelief. LA Rams +1.5 at San Fran -1.5. How the fuck is San Fran favored in this game? Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer like I thought he would be last week when I did my video. I'm not big on this Niners team at all, how they played. I still don't have a good read on them as they do keep on having injuries. I don't know what to say about this. The underdog is 7-0 against spread the last 7 meetings. Road teams 5-2 against the spread. Rams are 0-5 against spread versus San Fran their last 5. Rams have won 6 straight road games, however. Cup goes off. Rams win 31-21. That's how I see this playing out. Cooper Kupp anytime TD. Deebo Samuel over 29.5 rushing yards. Matthew Stafford over 1.5 TD passes. And I will look at Cooper Kupp's receiving yards. I'm going to look at a couple more of the receiving rushing yard totals in depth to see if I'm going to play them. And that goes for all the games, not just this one. I just know what ones I'm going to play regardless because the numbers are usually similar or pretty much the same. For anytime TDs, that's easy to figure out. They're never going to be really worse than winning $50 on a $100 bet